Yeah.
Welcome to the Alkalign Lifestyle podcast, where we delve into the essence of living a bioelectric life through mind, body, and spirit alignment. Join us as we explore the transformative power of a plant-based diet, cellular cleansing, chakra alignment, meditation, and intentional living. Discover how raising the vibration of your cells can lead to infinite health and well-being. Our episodes cover topics ranging from nutrition and mental health to stress management and healthy movement and relationships. Get ready to embark on a journey towards becoming the greatest version of yourself with insights from our master chef Drea Anoka, holistic health guru Fidelis Anoka II, and special guests. Tune in to elevate your consciousness and embrace the Alkalign Lifestyle. All right.
Okay.
Back
do it.
for numero dos.
2. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So today we're actually going to talk about how people in our lives can hinder or help expand our growth.
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking about this actually last night.
Mm-hmm.
And we were actually talking about a client of mine who he is in this journey of getting healthy and wanting to lose weight. And he, upon my first initial meeting them in person, he was talking about himself and what he's unhappy with about being so overweight. And his wife had claimed how handsome he is regardless, and he made the comment, oh, she has to say that because she's my wife. And initially I agreed with her when she said no, she does not have to say that. But then I realized after reflecting on it that is a way that a lot of people tend to try to keep people close to them in a specific container, in a specific identity, so that they don't have to change and grow themselves. And a lot of people do it. I've perceived, and I've actually experienced this personally, being a person on that end, where you're doing it from the place of, I'm afraid that if this person gets, healthier or smarter or more successful, then, there's no room for me to stay the way that I am. We're gonna go different directions. And a lot of people get afraid of that. Because they want to hold on to really their own insecurities and their habits, and they don't want to change. And so that was something that we were discussing, was such a huge hindrance for not even just romantic relationships or marriages, but even in friendships, and family relationships. And this is why we talk about where it's so important to have a supportive network, even if it's just 1 or 2 people in your life that are just so supportive of you in going to where you want to go, because you realize, and this was from your personal experience too, with basketball, that those people that are in your network, they have such a massive influence on you through energy entanglement. Can you talk about your experience with basketball and how the people that you surrounded yourself with had an influence on your success or your failure?
It's actually really, it's really a treat to go back into when I was playing and attempting to go training and the people whom I've met, because what happened to me was I was entangled with certain individuals at the level I believed I was at. And then when I changed my belief about myself, I got new people to come in. So I wasn't growing until I had to basically say I'm there, and then the people around me changed to get me there. So when I first started the process, I only had I have one friend, to be honest. He knows who he is. G, that's my best friend, my high school best friend. Probably known him for 24 years. So if I say I want to do something, I don't tell nobody else because they're gonna look at you like, they can't accept a different version of you. Type of thing. So if I say, hey, I'm gonna go play college basketball, they'll be like where? At what college? You didn't even play in high school. You weren't that good. So it's they don't know what I had to go through to get to that place or go to junior college or whatever places I had to get up and go to, right? So, but he does. So when I met certain individuals on my way of training myself, getting better, at every level, there's people who can help you to get to that level. And when I first started, I was at like a minor league type of way. So I had my friends helping me and stuff like that. But then I was like, no, I want to be in a professional aspect of like competing. I want to go to a higher level. So I met higher people, like Kurt, my first trainer pretty much he's a professional basketball player himself. He was great. And he was my first pretty much trainer. He played with me in summer league. He was just awesome, like a mentor to me to guide me to being disciplined. But then after that, I kept meeting more people. I remember I traveled to Florida. I remember the year I got to go to IMG Academy and to go training. I've never been to any place that's like professional like that. Mm-hmm. But I started to walk into different rooms and I started to get people who got me into those rooms. And it was because, first of all, he held me accountable. So the whole process that I had, like the whole journey, I had to do it myself because I didn't have, a high sponsorship or a lot of money, a big time agency to promote me. I had to just do it myself. But it taught me a lot to be able to network and reach out to people and ask for help, But really, I'll say the entire process, it took me from each step. Dr. Irwin, you met Irwin finally, one time, but I remember, he was with me from 2015 probably till 2019 or 2018. And he was probably one of my biggest supporters, but he was tough. He was like a military guy, but he trains all professionals. I mean, he's like a shot doctor, like the guy is like, he's just disciplined in what he does. I went from there to Core 4 to go, I trained with Dre and the Millsap brothers. That was excellent. Just because the room that I was in, I'm seeing people different levels of competition. Mm-hmm. And it started to show me where I was really at because I didn't know I was in the wrong room with the wrong people. And so if you don't put yourself in the right room with the right people, you won't ever see your value accurately because you won't have an accurate assessment from the people coming at you. You see, so you can't stay home because home ain't where it's at because they only see you from the person that you were at home. They raise you a certain way, so they know you as this person. They can't see you in anything different, and they are not willing to accept you as anything different because they aren't willing to change themselves to see themselves as anything different. So I look at it all as mirrors. So so from what you're talking about, yeah, I mean, I was at my mom's house, like training and things. So she doesn't see me as a professional. Like she's like, you're just my son who I grew up, played in the driveway type of thing. So they're not gonna believe it. You have to believe it for yourself and then for them type of thing. So yeah, and so I feel not bad for your client, but if he can have some support, I think it would really drastically change like his trajectory and push him forward.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and what kind of tipped that off was like originally his natural expression was, I want this help. Mm-hmm. I want help with these things. Mm-hmm. And then it was after talking with my wife, she doesn't think that this is needed, so we'll only, receive help in this container. And it's nothing to do with the money because it was actually more out of my pocket to go the extra mile to do the other service. But what it was that, again, going back to, people want to hold on to their current identity because it's comforting and it's soothing them and it's affirming their current, way of living. And so I see this a lot where people don't want to be honest with one another. Yeah. They don't want to say, hey, what you're eating, what you're putting in your body is not helping you. It's making you, sick. It's making you overweight. It's causing these, autoimmune responses. I don't think you should be doing this. I just don't think it's for the benefit of you. Or when people come to their partners, especially, and they say, I want help with this. And then the partner's like, I don't think you need it.
Yeah.
But when you are coming from your heart and you're like, this is genuinely what I need.
Yeah.
Because I know myself. And I know that this would benefit not just me, but the rest of my family. And that was the place that he was coming from.
Yeah.
You know, and then after, you know, going through their kitchen and seeing how jam-packed the pantry was and the fridge was of all of these foods that are just not serving them well. I mean, there was a lot of fruit, don't get me wrong, and that was a great thing to see, but there are so many processed foods, so many boxed foods and canned foods and condiments and things that, you know, they cause the body more acidosis and weight gain and sustaining that heaviness, right? And then the other thing too that people don't want people to go through, and it's not just, you know, the eating differently, and I see this when people decide they want to eat plant-based or vegan, they struggle with that too, because eating is such a social thing.
Yeah.
But even with, you know, exercising, or I want to learn this new skill, or I want to embark on this new adventure with my career. And I do remember a couple times where I did feel inferior and insecure because you were wanting to advance yourself, because I was used to you being at this level and I was comfortable at this level, and then you're like, I want to advance myself, and I was like, I'm like good here. Why can't we just stay here? This is great. But what's so natural for humans is that we want to grow. We naturally want to grow and be challenged. But it can feel so uncomfortable. And again, we just want to reaffirm our current identity.
I think it's well, you just said about safety, because if I can see you how I always see you, and I can remind myself, which is basically remind, like I'm just gonna keep waking up and reminding myself where I'm at, what I am, it makes me feel comfortable because it's familiar. So if you're familiar, if you're, you know, 50 pounds overweight and you've been that way for the last 5 years, that's familiar. But now I may be 50 pounds overweight too, because you were. And then now say you lose 40 pounds and now you're looking lean and trim. Now I gotta make a choice. Like, am I gonna, sit there the same way, or am I gonna go where you at?
Yeah.
Because now you can't have this tension now. It's almost like pulling like a band. Like, I talk about frequency all the time. I talk about entanglement. So if I'm at this frequency level of I'm 50 pounds overweight, that's a frequency. And then say you change it and you're like, nah, like I'm about to be 20 pounds underweight. So that means you just lost 70. So like, shoot, I gotta find myself and see if I can catch up, because now it's gonna create tension. It's gonna create like a void. So I'm gonna be seeing you all the time. You're gonna be seeing me all the time. And you're gonna be like, okay, he's fit and trim. So when he leaves the house, now all of a sudden my insecurities or something like are gonna show up, and you have to make a choice. Like, you have to look in the mirror and say, okay, am I gonna let this person go, or am I gonna go catch up with him? Because you can't have where somebody wants to be healthy and you don't want to be healthy. That just doesn't make sense. Like, you can't have somebody say, I want to be wealthy, and you don't want to be wealthy. It doesn't make sense. Like, I want to be wealthy. I'm fine just with my current situation. Yeah, but I want a bigger house and a bigger car, and but I don't want to do all that. Yeah. So now you have a choice to make. You have to go find somebody, or the person has to convert themselves, because I also believe that the word marriage is like a prison for most people. They think that when you marry somebody, you're now locked in for life, and now you've caught them like a fish or like a hook, like you've hooked them. Now that's it. So whatever I do, you have to accept whatever I do, whatever I am. And it's like, no, that's not how it's supposed to work. We're supposed to come together, and now it's positive, negative, or plus or minus, or two sides and two energies, and now we're supposed to go up together. It means I have to walk, you have to walk, and we gotta keep walking together. Some people are like, nah, I'm here, so you just gotta just take that, because I don't feel like doing nothing else. And that's it. But that's not how it's supposed to work out. So I think what happens, and I see it, you know, they had the happy wife, that's what you about that, the happy wife, happy life thing. And I think that's the most awful thing, and we're supposed to be happy spouse, first of all. So both of y'all should be happy.
Happy spouse, happy house.
House. So my house is happy because I'm happy, and she's happy. If it's not like that, then somebody is not being heard, or somebody is not showing up. You know, so if I say, hey, I want to go do a fitness show, like I said, some months ago or whatever, I'm like, I'm gonna do a fitness show. I'm not asking you to, you know, to come to the gym with me or to train with me every day. I'm disciplined to do it myself. But if I'm gonna go out there all of a sudden and I'm looking the best I've ever been in my lifetime, and you're not gonna get up to do anything, I'm gonna lose interest in this person. Because now I'm sitting there saying, what we had in common, we don't have it anymore. Because, you see what I'm saying? So like, you can't blame me because I want to elevate. You know, if you're not taking care of your self-care, what am I supposed to do? You know, just take that because that's how you want to be? No, the frequencies are changing. And now my vibration is going to be at this level and this level, and you have to meet me where I am. I have to meet you where you are. And I don't want to come down to that level. So somebody has to come up, if that makes sense. And so I think that's where people have this failure in relationships. They think that it's like a forever thing and they never have to change. You have to be the person I met 10 years ago. Or it's like, no, like that's stupid. Like you need to evolve with the person. And y'all can evolve together.
Yeah. And I remember when we were actually, this was a couple years ago, we were at your mom's house, and you were watching on the YouTube, you were watching these videos of like exotic lifestyles.
Oh yeah.
Mansions and just like the ultra wealthy lifestyles, right? What was the channel?
Was that, what's his name? Ennis.
No, it was a different one. It was.
It was VY.
VYBO.
Yeah.
So he was watching this VYBO channel.
Yeah. Visualize yourself beyond ordinary. I think. Something like that. Yeah. Keep going.
And it was almost like, I remember you were sitting on the couch watching it on this big screen TV, and I came out, I was walking past you, and I felt like I just caught my partner watching porn. That's how like shocking it was for me. I was like, what the hell? What is he doing? He's cheating on me. But like not cheating like with a person, but like just with like dreams and goals and aspirations. And I was just like so taken aback because I was like, that's not what I want. And I've struggled with this a lot throughout since then, is allowing myself to be more expansive and also allowing myself to be more honoring of what you want in your life. And I think that's really important for partners to have, or just anybody in a relationship to, okay, maybe that's what you want, that's not what I want, and that's okay, I still love you. And I think at the same time, like it is important, I think, for partners to be in alignment, like in a general scope at least. You know, maybe you do like certain things over what I like. And I realize that that's okay. And it really woke me up to the fact that I can't control this person and what they like. I can't control them and what they want to do with their life. I can't control anything about it. And even, I remember you had a mohawk one time.
Yeah, my little.
And I was like, do you, boo boo? I think you look great just as you are. But I also knew it was important for you to experiment and play with your own appearance.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's a self-expression.
Yeah.
And so I do see where people try to control one another or use controlling tactics on one another to keep them in the way that they want to keep them, because again, that's familiarity, that's what's comfortable, that's what's been the thing for however long. Like, why change? And I think that not having adaptability and openness for change within yourself, because Lord knows I've not had the same haircut or the same hairstyle for my entire life, right? But yeah, so, you see people that get stuck in a certain way and they get mad at somebody for challenging that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's a thing. Like, you can see relationships and, okay, so here, I'm gonna throw something out. I don't believe in cheating because I don't believe in ownership. I don't own somebody else. If I go into a relationship and I say, this person is my property, and then they go step outside of a situation, it's because I was not in alignment and I didn't make the agreement that I was grateful to have them as a gift. So I stopped showing up and they went to seek something else. It's not where so before somebody gets mad and says, why did you cheat on me? They should have came to the person and said, what do you need? If you didn't come to the person to say, what do you need? What do you want? What can I do better? So that you're attracted to me, because it's all about magnets in this realm. So everything that creates us is magnetic. So therefore, if I am not attracting someone, I'm repelling them. And so if I don't become accountable enough to say, you may not like my bad habits, maybe you don't like if I'm eating steak and chicken and you eating all plants. So damn, well, teach me how to do it then. Teach me why to do it. Can I learn from you? Most people are like, no. Some people are just gonna be closed-minded enough to say, I don't like that. And you gotta take whatever, but that's not it. If we're gonna evolve together, I wanna at least make the effort. What you came to me 2017 and said, I don't wanna eat any more meat. I just came back from trading in Orlando for about a month and a half time. I was at Hoops with Dr. Hudson. I come back, I was in an extended stay, so I was, getting my chicken and my vegetables and stir fried, and my, I'd go get, well, at the time it was bad alkalign water, but I was going to go get off the shelf, I was going to buy things, thinking I was eating healthy. And I come back to your place in Arizona, you say, I want to eat all plant. And I'm like, now? Like, today? You're like, yeah, like I want to do it now. I'm like, okay, so what did I say? I said, can I have my favorite meal at this time, just one more time? And then tomorrow I'm not gonna, I'll stop.
What's so funny about that was, so I had this awakening that if I claimed to be an animal lover, I was very big into like animal welfare and activism and all those different things. And I was like, I feel like I am lying to myself and being a hypocrite by claiming one thing and then I'm eating the very thing that I'm claiming to love. And it was so like, it was just like, okay, you can't do this anymore. And so I initially was like, I want to go vegan. I want to eat vegan. And then it was like, will you do it with me? And he was like, okay, well, like, let's learn about this first.
Yeah.
Because I'm a little bit concerned
Yeah.
about my nutritional needs being met.
That's right, yeah.
And making this sustainable for
Mm-hmm.
the work that I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I had already come from a place, like even when I was in college and taking a nutrition class, and my instructor was vegetarian and her daughter vegan. So I already had a little bit of an insight into that it's a great way of eating, and it can be very supportive of your nutritional needs. And so when we dove into it, we started going down the rabbit hole of watching these documentaries and even getting into like the pet food and, you know, like the pet industry.
Yeah.
And you were like, all right, not eating any more meat. And then after we watched Pet Food, you were like, all right, Jade's not eating any more kibble.
Yeah.
And like that one took a while, but we initially like we dove into the vegan eating, and now we identify with just, you know, plant-based because that is what we eat. Because anything unhealthy can be, a lot of unhealthy things can be vegan. Yeah. So when you came with the notion that, you know, I'm eating for my health, I thought he was so arrogant and so inconsiderate to put himself before an animal. And I was just the complete opposite. But eventually I started to realize, like, this is benefiting my health in so many ways. And it just made sense because, you know, what I understood about even our dog's health was like, okay, this makes sense. Like, we're supposed to eat the way that we were created to eat. Yeah. Okay. You know, but I see people, and we actually met an elderly woman who was not very elderly in energy. Oh, yeah. But Barbara is her name, and she was just such a light.
NFL cheerleader too.
A former NFL cheerleader.
For the Redskins, something like that. Yeah, crazy.
And we met her at the gym, and this woman could pick up heavier weights than I could.
It's crazy.
And she had so much more energy than I did. And she was married, and, you know, we were talking about diet, and, you know, she was talking, you know, she only ate like a little bit of meat once or so a week. She ate predominantly plants, and her husband ate the complete opposite. He would go to the gym, but he just had a completely different mentality, completely different attitude, completely different way of eating and taking care of himself. And she was, you know, they were just polar opposites. And she was like, I already know I'm gonna outlive him, so I've already prepared for that. I've already mourned it. You know, and I just let him be. And it's so astonishing to me when I see couples in particular who, and I've encountered this as a chef, where people are looking to, you know, hire a chef for a private dinner or something, and it's like one person's a carnivore, one person's a meat eater or whatever, and the other person is completely the opposite. And it just, I think it comes down to like your morals and your ethics. Yeah. Like your food choices aren't just like, okay, just whatever I put in my mouth, but it comes down to like, what do you truly value?
Well, there's a, you know, because I thought Barbara was enabling. I always look at it from, people have virtues, and you have to live for something. You know, you have to believe something's right or wrong. Like, you gotta believe something. Like, you can't just be walking around here and just taking something from everybody and not having your own way of saying this is right and this is wrong, and I believe in this and I believe in that. You know, but I don't believe in enabling. I think enabling is not right. I don't want to outlive I don't want to know 20 years prior I'm gonna outlive my partner. That doesn't make sense. Rather than you do that, why not ask, how can you and your partner sustain the longest quality of life for the longest quantity of life? So how long can we live happily ever after and healthy and wealthy and all that stuff for as many years as we possibly can? Why wouldn't we want to go to that side? And I think people have this enabling thing. Oh, well, you know, they're just not gonna get it. And no, you're gonna get this work. and say that, like make that like a point to do that, because there is right and wrong. Like there is, like, look, you can treat people good or bad, and you can know that you have good intentions or bad intentions. You can know that type of stuff. That, like, I think people just don't want to believe something by themselves.
Yeah.
And that's where it really hinders me when I'm walking around. I'm seeing people, look, what do you actually believe in? Because if you don't believe in it, I'm not gonna follow you. If I don't believe in the ways that I have right now, why would anybody follow me? You know, so I just say, look, I can follow it by myself, whether you believe it or not. And here's the example: it's me. So if you want to see what happens whenever you devote to eating plants and using plants as your protein, because all protein comes from plants. You know, it's not like I had to go research it. I eat meat for 34 years. You know, so it's not like I was just jumping into something that I didn't. No, I actually went in there. I did it one way. Now I'm doing it this way, and I feel better this way than I was doing it the other way. Obviously, I know which one is right or wrong for me, but I'm no different than anybody else on this planet. So if I'm looking at myself and I'm saying, yeah, I have certain minerals and things that I need, but there's values to it, you know?
West Hollywood Library will close in 30 minutes. Please note, the public computers will shut down automatically in 15 minutes. The copy room and study rooms will close in 15 minutes. Thank you.
So really it just comes down to, I have values. If the person's aligned with me, have values that align with me, we can be friends, or you can be my partner. That's kind of how it works out. So I felt like if you were gonna say, hey, I wanna eat plant, and I'm like, you know, hey, I'm good, cause I get my protein from the steak. First of all, that's just a lot of ignorance too. And a lot of closed-mindedness, saying that I don't wanna learn anything. I wanna learn, so let's go learn. And shoot, like we can have a whole, we were eating the same almond cheese and the same.
And then we found out that it wasn't even vegan.
We found it wasn't even bland. It was making us hurt.
I had like whey or something in it.
Yeah, and so we had to keep going through the process. But I'm like, look, we're gonna get more expensive. We just keep doing it. Just keep on repetition. Like just keep repping it out. We're gonna keep getting better. And yeah, so I do think your values matter. I do value the animals, but I also value my health first, because I can't help the animals if I'm not healthy.
Yeah. So what do you do if you know your partner is hindering your growth?
Okay. You have a choice to make. You have a choice to make. You know, I'll talk from personal experience. When I met you, you liked wine. I did not even, I'm like, nope, it ain't going down. I don't smoke, I don't drink, so hey, it's not going down. And it's like, look, I don't know what to tell you. I don't watch the shows or the Sex in the Cities, and I don't do all that. It's not for me. And if you're gonna be carrying little ones, all alcohol is bad, in my opinion. I don't have to sit there to go in there to go find some research papers, and I don't need to do any of that. I just know intuitively, and I have done the research papers part too, but I'm just saying, I know intuitively, this ain't what you want. And I had to make a choice to say, listen, I either can accept this behavior from this person, or I can say, this ain't gonna work. You have to start climbing the ladder, or we're gonna have to part ways. Mm-hmm. And you know, I think you really have to come down to that, because you can't go towards growth and the other person stay stagnant, or go opposite, because they're gonna try to pull you down to that level constantly, and they're gonna sabotage what you're trying to build for yourself. And you rather have a support team and a mastermind group, especially with your partnership, than an anchor. So either you're choosing an anchor because of enabling, or y'all are both going together towards a common goal. And you need to have a common goal. I believe you have to have a common goal, or it's useless to be in a relationship with anyone or a friendship with anyone. If you don't have a common goal, I think it's just kind of a waste of time. And it's a waste of your time and the other person's time, because they need to be on the level where they're at. Because I always say you have to go where you're celebrated and appreciated. And if somebody has different values and they may not celebrate you, they may not believe in that. And that's fine. You know, I don't own you. You know, like you're not a prisoner in marriage. That's why I told you I don't believe in cheating. Some people might look at me like I'm crazy, but I believe it's all about gratitude. I'm grateful I have a gift in a person's company and energy and tangle with me. And if I don't want to show up differently so I can keep this thing going like this, and if I'm refusing to upgrade myself, they have the right to get up and go somewhere. I know that they have the right to get up and go somewhere at every moment. So I always show up as my best so that my partner can appreciate my best. So I think that's it's just the answer. You have to look at the mirror and say, yeah, are you going to enable, or are you going to have some boundaries? And then, you know, have some expectations for yourself and for your relationship.
Yeah, I definitely think that there's a responsibility on the person who is receiving the hindrance from their partner. Like, you are just as much responsible for the entanglement that's going on between you.
Yeah.
And if you don't speak up and say something, if you don't do anything about it, and if you don't stay true to yourself, then you're just doing both of you a massive disservice.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's, yeah. And I really think that in this day and age, as of right now, a lot of men are so weak and they aren't standing up for themselves and for what the Creator made. I do believe I'm supposed to be a direct messenger from God or from the Creator to, you know, set my family in the right way.
Yeah.
I do believe that, but I believe a lot of women, maybe they weren't taught that. They were taught to go hook somebody for the marriage, and then they accomplished their goal, and then they don't have to show up any differently. I don't believe that. I think to this day that is the wrong thing, and you're seeing how divorces work and these things with, you know, finances. It's like you go into partnerships almost like a business transaction, and it doesn't make sense. So was there any growth, just financial growth? Like, that's why you went into it? You know, like you knew prior to going in, you were just gonna go get half and then leave. Like, that's stupid. You had no intention of helping this person to really be themselves. That doesn't make sense. It's a complete waste of both of your time, but it's also bad intention on that part. Because I do believe, I told you what, the hardest thing for people to do is have restraint. You know, the hardest thing for people to do is to not fight, you know, and to not have anger and negative emotion. And I feel like many times women are just given a pass to do that. And most men don't say anything. They just say, oh, that's how my wife is, you know, it's that time. And I don't care if it's that fucking time, you better work that out amongst yourself. You know, like, I'm not gonna have that each month you have a bad attitude, I expected for this week. No, I'm not having that. Change that. Go up in there, be accountable for your behavior and for yourself, and grow from that. You know, and if you don't do it, I mean, I'm gonna walk. Like, I don't need to be taking that. I think that's where you start to see people don't step up for themselves. Like, why would you accept behavior like that?
Yeah.
You know, I used to be stupid. I used to steal. I used to fight all the time. I used to do crazy shit all the time. And I always come to tell you that I messed up. And if you say, hey, if you do this again, I'm out. I value you than this stupid behavior. So the behavior gotta go. I'm not fighting. I'm not stealing. I'm not robbing. I'm not doing anything. I'm not doing anything to jeopardize my entanglement with this person, because it's worth more, because I care more about that.
Yeah.
And so I think people don't look at it from that perspective. They look at it like entitlement, but it's not entitlement. You're not entitled to have anyone in your life. You're not. You only have yourself. You know, so I think when people are hindering your growth and you know that, and you don't stay anything, you don't, then you don't care about yourself that much.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I look. Well, okay, how you feel? Okay.
Yeah, I agree. I do agree, and I agree that I do agree that you mentioned, like, just briefly how men give women so much of a pass for how they're feeling hormonally is usually the case. And we've created this culture that says it's perfectly okay for a woman to be downright nearly abusive in our relationship towards people, not even just their spouse, but towards people, because their hormones are out of whack. And that is just the opportunity for a woman to take accountability for her health. And I can tell you, like, and but like I've had periods that were blissful and fun and enjoyable, and I was so surprised when they came because I didn't have any symptoms of them coming on. Like no mood swings, no aches and pains, no fatigue, no nothing. And then there would be periods where it was like, holy hell, and it was like, what is going on with me? Why do I feel like I want to kill somebody and cry at the same time? And those are things for women to be responsible for. And I actually took it to the comparison of men are a little bit more sexually driven.
Yeah.
Right? And men have been for a long time. They've been basically ostracized for expressing that. So it's like, keep your dick in your pants, you're like almost a threat, and like, I don't care that you have sexual needs are not being fulfilled, or you're turned on by something, learn to control it. So if men are taught to be, or are expected to be in control of their hormones, why are women not expected to be in control of their hormones too?
That makes sense. Yeah.
Right? Because and I think it's the same. If people are wanting equality, if women are wanting equality to men, well, that right there is a perfect opportunity to express equality.
That makes sense.
Like when I started taking better care of myself and I saw how it was influencing my periods and my hormone health, that was not even an issue for me.
Yeah.
And then when I stopped, it started becoming an issue for me. Yeah. And then we had so many fights and arguments in our relationship.
Yeah.
And I realized that the biggest contributor to my irregular, erratic behavior during my cycle was the amount of stress that I was taking on. And that is down to your own responsibility to manage your hormones and to understand, like, at the same time, like, men and women are two different beings. Like, you have your hormones, I have my hormones. So I'm going to take care of myself for my hormones and my hormonal health, and you do the same for you, boo-boo.
That's right. And
we can have harmony. But I think a lot of people are really underestimating how important health and self-care are in a relationship. And when you're taking care of yourself and you're taking care of your well-being and you're taking care of your needs, what the other person does is, like, really beyond your concern.
Yeah. 100%. I think as soon as you pay attention to your lifestyle and you can share in a lifestyle of growth, then it's harmony. But if somebody's going towards growth and somebody's in stagnation, or somebody's going towards growth and somebody's going towards self-destruction, that creates disharmony.
Yeah.
I think it's as simple as that. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay.
All right. So Thank you for tuning in to another insightful episode of the Alkalign Lifestyle podcast. We hope you found today's discussion enlightening and empowering as you continue on your journey towards a healthier and more balanced lifestyle. Remember, small changes can lead to significant transformations in your well-being. Stay tuned for more expert insights and practical tips on living the alkalign way.